So we're talking about exchange data internationally with Jonathan Bloch, the CEO of the eponymous Exchange Data International. So explain to us, Jonathan, what exactly do you do?
Okay, so exchange data, we cover reference data, corporate actions, pricing, particularly closing pricing and evaluated pricing for most asset classes. We cover bonds, government agency, muni bonds, corporate bonds, equities, and trade exchange derivatives and OTC derivatives. And we compete against some of the big guys, but we have a very different philosophy. That's a philosophy we're known for. The fact that we give people very liberal redistribution rights, and we allow our clients to own the data. So should they decide for whatever reason to terminate, they don't have to expunge the data. And that makes us different from the other players. We feel that the practices are outdated and outmoded. We have tried to meet what we think are the challenges of data in the 21st century.
Now, there's a big statement, the challenges of data in the 21st century. I like the fact that your clients get to own their data, because certainly there's nothing more upsetting than suddenly cancelling your Netflix subscription and discovering that you can't actually watch anything that you've been able to watch previously and you've downloaded. And I'm sure with people, particularly with corporate actions data, it becomes quite catastrophic for their back records and so on. However, where else do you think there are grounds for improvement in the exchange data industry at the moment?
Well, I think there are many different areas where there can be improvements. And in fact, there are at least 3 or 4 investigations going on at the moment into market data and its usage. So you've got IOSCO, you've got ESMA, you've got the Financial Conduct Authority, the FCA, looking at indexes and credit ratings. And that's just 4 that I know of, investigations. And I think basically users have got to be more discerning, and they've got to use their power as users to get better deals. So if we take indices, a business which we are not involved in, so I could talk quite freely, why do people pay for a brand name when instead they could buy the UK 100? And when I've spoken to people who've moaned about the price of the brand name 100, they say, well, we can't move because we have a mandate. But when a replica index is available, where over a 10-year period, the only difference is 50 basis points, that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. But as what somebody once said to me, nobody brave enters the financial services sector. And people can moan as much as they like about the cost of data and exchange practices, but they have to take action. And it's interesting, the only people to take any action are in Germany, where you've got the BVI, which is the Fund Management Association in Germany, and they are very vocal. And they've been to the EU Monopolies mergers crowd many times, making representations and kicking up a fuss. So it's up to really the people in the UK and USA who moan a lot, but always butt out at the last moment.
I think that's an absolutely epic statement altogether, that nobody brave ever enters the financial services sector. I think you've just explained to me what I've been getting wrong for the last 30 years, Jonathan. That's clearly been my error at all points in time, has been to call the odd thing out. I think you're also, it's very interesting though, when you talk about branding and product, the other thing I love about branding and product that always fascinated me was how though there is an element of retail investor who get really dazzled by brand, to wit, various academic studies from way back, and indeed a lot of anecdotal evidence. You can look it up yourself if you've got the right data feeds very easily. If you take, for instance, warrants that have got the same time to expiry as an equivalent exchange traded option, the warrant, because it's branded, for example, in Australia by saying Macquarie Bank, which is a great bank, or whichever, Commonwealth Bank of Australia or something, the equivalent option on the exchange will actually turn out to be cheaper than the warrant, because people perceive somehow or other that the bank-backed product is actually more glamorous. So maybe there's a certain element of that when it comes to the index product.
Well, one wag said, nobody ever went bust underestimating the intelligence of the public.